Let's build our pet detail page. We ultimately want it to look something like this, but we'll use an iterative approach and start with the basic content and structure. From this point forward, we'll edit our website using the VS Code editor. Open the Pet Cafe folder in VS Code. There are multiple ways to do this. If you selected it as an option during the install, you can locate the folder in your file system, right-click, and select Open with Code. Or you can open VS Code directly. One nice feature of VS Code is that it remembers the last folder you opened. But if it didn't automatically open your Pet Cafe folder, use the File Open Folder option. So far, our folder only contains one file, the index.html file. Let's add another file to display details for one of the cafe's pets. Click the New File button that appears when you mouse near the folder name, or click File, New File. In either case, you get a box to type in the name of the new file. We'll name the file yoyo-detail.html, following the naming conventions we discussed earlier. Be sure to specify the HTML extension so the file is recognized as an HTML document. Press Enter to create the file. Then click the Explorer icon to toggle the window closed for more space. One of the cool features of VS Code is that it has built-in support for a tool called Emmet. Emmet recognizes several abbreviations that, when typed into the editor, automatically generate or emit, get it? Emmet emits some code. If we type a bang or exclamation point, we see a drop-down suggestion list. Here on the right, it tells us that these are Emmet abbreviations. If you don't see the list, or if the list closes, ensure the cursor is at the end of the typed text and press Ctrl-Space to reopen it. The first entry generates the entire structure of a page. The second entry creates just the doc type. Let's pick the first one. Press Enter or Tab, and voila! VS Code generates the structure of our HTML for us. Wow, that saves us some time. All we have to do is add our page title here and our content here. For our page title, let's define a standard title format that we'll use throughout our website. We'll provide a descriptive name for the page, a colon, and the name of our website. Let's go with Yo-Yo Detail, Virtual Pet Cafe. There are many more Emmet abbreviations we can use to generate HTML. We'll look at a few more throughout this course. You can find a link to Emmet documentation in the lesson links at the end of this lesson. Within the body, we define the header of the page using the header element. Notice that the autocomplete tries to find what we are looking for. Press Tab to select it. We haven't yet closed the opening tag, so our tag is incomplete. Notice that VS Code shows the next element as red. That's because it's trying to use that element's right angle bracket as this element's closing. When you see an element show up red, check the element before it. When we type in the right angle bracket, all is well, and VS Code automatically adds the closing tag. Within the header, we'll specify H1 for the page heading and type Virtual Pet Cafe. We'll add the navigation to this header later in this course. Let's run and see what it looks like. I'll click Go Live here in the lower right corner of VS Code. And let's click Don't Show This Again so we won't see these notifications. Then I'll arrange the windows. We see our header, yay! And the Browser tab displays our title text. Keep in mind that if at any point during this coding along exercise, the web page doesn't appear in the browser as you would expect, scroll down below this video to the What If It Doesn't Work box at the bottom of this lesson for some suggestions. Let's move on. After the header, we insert the main element to define where our main content will go. We want to add a heading within this element. Let's make it a level 1 heading with the text, Meet Yo-Yo. Since we turned on autosave, and with Live Server running, as we build up our page, we can see the changes here in the browser. Nested inside the main element and after our heading, we add a section element for each of our 3 sections. Section, section, section. In the first section, we add a Level 2 heading, About Me, and use P elements to add paragraphs of text. Feel free to add more or change it up. If you don't want to type all of the text, scroll down below this video to the lesson links at the bottom of this lesson. There you can link to the code for this coding along exercise and copy the text from there. In the second section, we'll add a Level 2 heading, Fun Facts, and again use P elements to add a few paragraphs. The last section has a Level 2 heading of My Story, with a few more paragraphs of text. To protect our work, we want a copyright notice at the bottom of the page. We define that in a footer. Between the end of the main element and the end of the body element, we add a footer element and insert our copyright notice. Wouldn't it be nice if we could add a copyright symbol here? Well, HTML provides a set of special codes called HTML character entities. Each entity code consists of an ampersand, the code name, and a semicolon. The entity code for a copyright symbol is ampersand, copy, semicolon. Adding that to our page displays the copyright symbol. The result isn't pretty, but we now have the structure in place for another page of our website. We're done with this page for now, so close the browser, click here to close Live Server. Before we move on, let's update our home page and apply the same organizational concepts. First, let's copy the header from our pet detail page. Open Explorer, then double-click to open the index.html file. Let's close the Explorer for more space. Then paste our copied header just after the opening body tag. Let's also copy the footer. Go back to the pet detail page and copy the footer copyright notice. Then paste it into our index.html page just above the closing body element. Next, we'll add a main element after the header. Nested under the main, we'll add an article element to define a block of independent content. Within the article, we add a section for our input elements. Then we cut the paragraphs of text we created earlier and paste them under the article element. We'll change the first P element to an H1 to more semantically define it as a header. And don't forget to change the closing tag as well. And let's delete some of the empty lines so we can see more of the screen. Lastly, we cut the paragraphs containing the input elements and paste them within the section. Let's give this section a heading, add an H3 element with text, tell us more about you. If at any time you want to reformat the document, use Shift-Alt-F or Shift-Option-F on the Mac. VS Code will automatically reformat, adding indentation as appropriate for your elements. That's a good way to ensure your opening and closing tags match up. And delete any excess blank lines. Click on Go Live and we see our updated homepage. It now has a header, content, and footer. Cool! Close the browser and click here to stop Live Server. Going back to the slides. So, a code editor such as VS Code improves our productivity and makes it easier to create and display multiple pages for a website. Emmet generates or emits HTML. We type an abbreviation, and Emmet does the rest, saving us some typing. Emmet is built into VS Code. Using an iterative approach to building our website helps us ensure each small part works before adding more features. Next up, let's look at some flow elements.